Remember when HK made cool guns? HK USP 45 Tactical. Little history lesson, the HK USP series was developed in conjunction with the US SOCOM Offensive Weapons System, meaning these were designed at the same time as the Mark 23 in the early 1990s. They went into production later in the 90s, starting in a 40 cal, then a 9mm shortly after, and then lastly they came out with the USP 45. They operate on the same short recoil system as the Mark 23, so these are super reliable handguns. They are a double single action with a decocker. So if you like carrying cocked and locked, you can do that, or if you want to decock, you can decock. The frames on these are made of polymer, but unlike Glock pistols, they don't get called Tupperware. Something that sets the USP Tacticals apart from their standard counterparts is they have suppressor height sights that are all black, really awful for any sort of dark shooting, but hey, they're there and they look over your thick can. The other thing that is unique to the Tacticals is they have a threaded barrel, so you can attach any suppressor on here so long as you have some sort of adapter that lets it fit these super weird metric left-hand threads. The mag release on the USPs is a little bit different than your traditional button style that you would see on this side. It is actually a paddle, which is ambidextrous. This is kind of inconvenient if you don't have abnormally large hands, so usually you're gonna have to hit that with your index finger rather than your thumb. The USP was one of the first handguns that actually featured an accessory rail. It's not Picatinny, meaning in 2020 when you're watching this, it doesn't accept any sort of Picatinny mounted lights unless you get a cool adapter. Streamlight is the only one that actually made lights for this in any sort of capacity. That'd be your TLR3, it mounts directly onto here. Or another option is they do make rail adapters for these that are Picatinny if you want to have your light hang 2 feet off the bottom of your gun. Being chambered in 45, the USP 45 Tactical is a great suppressor host. 45s are subsonic, so you don't have to worry about any sort of crack when you're shooting with your can, and you want to be super sneaky. The USP lineup of handguns falls into that time period where HK made cool guns, none of that VP9 bullshit. Just look at it. These bad boys retail for about $1,200, making it the only polymer frame handgun you should ever spend over $1,000 on. Something to note about the rear sight on these is they actually are adjustable. So if you do need to shoot your 45 at any distance past 10 yards and you need to adjust for elevation, you can do that. USP 45s come with 12 round magazines from the factory. You do see a large number of 10 round mags out there. Just be aware of what you're buying. Something cool about the USP 45s is they also take magazines from the Mark 23. So if you have a Mark 23 and 50 mags laying around and you for some reason want to get a USP 45 because you can, the mags are interchangeable. Pull one of these bad boys out the range and every 23-year-old with a VP9 is going to want to be your best friend. The double action trigger on this is on par with every double action trigger. Horrible. The single action trigger, however, is very pleasant, all considering. 10 out of 10 would recommend. For those of you that were born yesterday and don't know what the difference between double single action is, a double action only trigger means the hammer cannot fire from the cocked position. It has to go all the way back and then let go. A single action trigger means it fires from the cocked position like that. The USP 45 is capable of both depending on the trigger you have installed. I think this gun's good for. It's not really good for concealed carry. It's pretty thick with 3 Cs. It is a really good suppressor host, as I discussed, being in 45, and this action cycles extremely reliably with a suppressor on it, unlike most Glock handguns. It's also good for relating with boomers who carry 1911s chambered in 45, because you also have a 45 and the secret sauce called stopping power. As far as 45s go, this is probably my favorite. Unlike a 1911, it can feed hollow point ammunition, which is a huge technological feat in the 21st century. With all the features I've listed paired with the sleek lines and looks of the USP 45 Tactical, I will make the claim that this is the best 45 caliber suppressor host on the market. Compared to the competition, like this FNX 45 Tactical here, that's dirt color. First off, why would you make a gun in this color, especially all this color? Everybody knows OD green is the new thing, so this is just disgusting. It's repulsive. It holds 15 rounds, and that might be a selling point for some people, but if you can't do it in 12, that's what tactical reloads are for, okay? You can have as much ammo on you as you want. You might just have to reload it more, and if you're, competent, you can do that pretty quickly. So I see that as a non-issue. Okay, RMR cuts, you don't need RMRs where we're going, okay? RMRs, they have batteries, or you have that weird dual illuminated one that sucks. These things, if you leave them in the sun too long, they're squishy, okay? Google it. Yeah, leave it in the sun too long, leave it in your hot car, it's all squishy. It's not a feature. It's not supposed to do that. Picatinny rails? Picatinny rails are for losers, okay? Whatever that thing has, I don't even know what to call it. Super cool. Doesn't have all these weird cheese grater grooves in it. Just two slick lines. Throw, one of two manufactured flashlights on there. You're good. Sure, you only got 75 lumens, but hey, you don't need any more than that, really. You know how many cool video games this gun's been in? None. And don't say Ghost Recon Wildlands, because that was a no. You could buy one of these if you want to be like every other, gun Instagrammer, put an Osprey 45 on it, have a fucking brick mounted at the end of your gun. But, where we come from, aesthetics are important. Like I always say, looking cool is half the fight. And despite what you think, that's ugly doing that. I mean, this is a pretty okay gun, but I'm tired of talking about this trash, okay? USP 45 Tactical, you should buy one. Stay strapped or get clapped. Counter-terrorists win.